the news that the NFL made official a 17-game regular season starting in 2021, it's not a surprise. We knew it was coming, especially once the media rights deals got done, the CBA allowed for it. It was inevitable that they were going to go to 17. For the longest time, the talk was 18, but we knew 17 was inevitable. So here it is. And I guess my reaction is just, meh. You know, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all. And not just because I don't like odd numbers, not just because it's 17, which is just weird. You know, it's like,
10 and 7.
18 makes a little more sense. You know, yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
10 and 7, 9 and 8. You know what I mean? It just
no more 8 and 8.
17.
Dead.
But it's unnecessary. You know, I read the statement from Roger Goodell. It said, this is a monumental moment in NFL history. Is it? Or is it a monumental moment in the history of y'all collective bank accounts? The CBA with the players and the recently completed media agreements provide the foundation for us to enhance the quality of the NFL experience for our fans. Which fans? And one of the benefits of each team playing 17 regular season games is the ability for us to continue to grow our game around the world. Yeah. I guess. You know, it's like it doesn't do anything for me because I don't see what it does for anybody. And it's just like constant expansion. It's like, okay, first we're going to expand the playoffs, which I reluctantly accepted. Not that I had a choice in the matter. I didn't have a vote. Mm-hmm. But all right, we're going to 7 teams in each conference now. It's like, okay, fine. If you must accommodate another 9 and 7 or 10 and 6 as the case may be, sure. So now we're going to 17 games. Well, why? Like, I don't need more regular season. We're going to 17 games and now 3 preseason games. So we're just going to make one more preseason game, a regular season game, just to squeeze every last nickel that we can out of this. And it does nothing for the product, at least unless I'm missing something. Am I missing something? Enlighten me if I am.
No.
What does this actually do?
No, you're not missing anything. I'll tell you, but one thing I need to know from the Players Association, and I need to read up on it even more and just get into what kind of leverage they had. Like, what did they have on the table? What could they hold back? I mean, there's some give and take in any negotiation. So for management to get something, all right, the players have to get something too. That's how it goes, back and forth. Usually management ownership winds up with more things that they want, and the Players Association winds up with what they want. And the reason I put it that way is, look, if you're going to play 17 games, if you're the players, 3 preseason games is too much. Because Michael Smith, I don't know about you, one of my favorite things from last year, look, I know there weren't people in the stadiums, in the NFL atmosphere, the NFL experience was compromised by the pandemic. And there's no way around it. Empty stadiums took some getting used to. And we got used to it a little bit, but you'd much rather have a packed stadium. But one of the things that I did enjoy about last season, loved it, no preseason games. I didn't miss the preseason for a second. And I probably shouldn't say that, but because I know there are some people, for example, like the Hall of Fame game. I know that means a lot to a lot of people. I didn't miss it. Didn't miss the Hall of Fame game. Didn't miss preseason game number 4 where you're playing that little dance of keeping some people out and trying to see who's going to make your roster. You don't want anybody to get hurt, but you want to be competitive. And so if you're the players, what do you get out of it? I guess what you get is more jobs. Because if you have 17 games, I would think the rosters expand a little bit. You have a little bit more of a taxi squad. So job creation is one of the perks of 17. But if you're really going to be serious about player safety.
Offset by more exactly. I'm sorry, you were just about to say it. Offset by more exposure to injury.
Right.
You know? If
you're going to be serious about player safety, stop equating preseason games with regular season games. Stop trying to get this 20-game package. It's a 20-game package. I don't know if I ever told you this. One of the, it wasn't nasty. It was lively. One of the liveliest debates I ever had with Robert Kraft. That sounds like that's a good start to a story, isn't it? One of the liveliest debates I ever had with Robert Kraft.
I'm intrigued. You have my attention.
It surrounded the 20-game schedule. Because I was complaining at that time, I was doing sports talk radio in Boston. Robert Kraft was listening, and I was complaining about the price of preseason tickets and preseason parking. Oh my God. You folks who live in the Midwest, oh my God. You have no idea. Like parking around Boston and New York and Philadelphia, but Boston, like it's insane. I'll just tell you this parenthetically. One time I was going to a Red Sox game. I saw a sign for parking like $65 or $75. I took a picture of it, sent it to my mother. She was confused. She was like, what is this? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Does that include food?
They're like, what is that? I said, yes. Like, she's in an area where you can park all day for $5 or $6. So I was complaining that these outrageous, these bloated parking prices were there for preseason games. And he was like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, if you have to charge that, why not do that in the regular season? He said it's a 20-game package. I said, it's not a 20-game package. It's 16 plus 4 preseason games. Don't try to connect the preseason to the regular season. But that's what they do. And that's what they've done here. They've got this whole, it's fraudulent. It is fraudulent. It is an insult to any thinking person. And I would suspect it's an insult to the players that if they're asked to play 17 games, taking away 1 preseason game, where the salary structure for the players is not the same. They're not paid the same off the preseason as they are in the regular season. It's a completely different salary structure. Well, so don't try to connect these things.
There's this assumption, and maybe justifiably so, that there's an appetite for it, that we will take more and like it. That fans and consumers, you will accept more football and like it.
I think that's right.
We'll accept more football, but the accept part is right. The like it, just show me where it makes a difference. Like, we already have the climax that is week 16 or game 16, week 17 in the NFL.
Yeah.
The push for the playoffs. How does adding a 17th game add to the excitement? It gives you now nobody's gonna ever go 8-8 again. Is it the only thing that comes out of this is we're never gonna have another 8-8. Nobody's gonna break even anymore. Mathematically impossible.
Right.
So is that what the goal is?
No. I think the goal is what you just said.
It's unnecessary. That's the bottom line. It's unnecessary. They're doing it because
we know why they're doing it. They're doing it because of the money. They're doing it because of the money. But I don't think fans see. I think there are three different channels here. All right, channel number 1 is the ownership channel, and you know what that's all about: money, 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 money. They just want the money. They're going to get more. It's going to be more revenue. They're very happy. So that channel is very predictable. It's the same all the time in all sports, but especially in the NFL, which is king of North America. Then the other channel is the fans. I mean, the fans really aren't going to complain about an extra game. So no, you can't say, if you're going to do your predictions, you got to add in, 8-9 instead of 8-8, 7-10 instead of 7-9. We got it. And 17-0 in the regular season.
There's a market for it because they're not going to complain because they're not going to stop watching football because it's 17 games now. So again, they're doing it because they can, and it's not going to hurt them. It's all it's going to do is pad their pockets. My point is, it does not, contrary to what Roger Goodell said, it does not make the product better. It just gives us more of it.
That's right.
It just dilutes it. It just gives you another opportunity to pad stats. It gives you another opportunity to maybe extend for another week the intrigue about who locks in the playoffs. It doesn't make it better. I reject that. It doesn't make it better.
Well, you said
it just gives you more.
You said it off the top.
And I don't know that that's a good thing.
You said it off the top. You said meh when you look at it. So it doesn't. Yeah. You said it doesn't make the product better. I agree. It doesn't make it better. No. But you said it dilutes the product. It doesn't dilute the product either. It's pretty much neutral. It's indifferent. You can have 16 games, 17 games. Doesn't make a difference. But let me tell you about the third channel. Third channel is the most important one. You have the fans. The fans won't complain about it. Not that much. And if they do, they'll get over it by like the middle of like week 7, week 8. Owners will never complain about it. They're like Roger Goodell. Hey, this is great. But the players, it really comes down to the players because they've got to prepare for a 17-game season. And most players have become very good at euphemistic speaking when they talk about late in the season. Week 13, week 14, Hey, how you doing? If you ask a player about his injury, how you doing? Well, listen, nobody's 100% during this at this time of year. We're all a little banged up. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to play it at a high level, especially when you get to week 13, 14, 15. And depending on the coach that you're playing for, some coaches don't take care of you. Some coaches feel like, hey, it's football season, you should be in pads all the time. We're not going to shells, we're going to pads. So I think the toll that it takes on the players.
So you're saying the toll that it takes on the players could compromise the quality of the product and the availability of the players as the season goes on. In other words, it dilutes the product. Like anytime you expand, you dilute the product. If you expand the playoffs, you're diluting the playoff field. If you add more games to it, you know, it's like you're unnecessarily. It's just maybe it's because it's been 16 my whole life. What is it? 1978, Michael? I want to say 1978 is when it went to 16 games, and I know before that it was 14, and once upon a time, long ago, it was 12. So there is precedent for it expanding over the years. It just wasn't broke. So why are they fixing it? I mean, we know why. And we know it was coming. This is not a shock. This is not coming out of left field. So we could have talked about this at any point. You know, it was a big deal over the weekend when Alvin Kamara tweeted it was dumb, and others echoed that. It's been in the works for a while. So today is not some, you know, curveball that the NFL is throwing us. But now that it's official, I guess it just gave me an excuse to vent. And it's like, really, why? You know, like 17 games. Maybe I'll get used to it. Maybe you know, it'll be no big deal, and we'll keep it pushing. But right now, the idea of adding another game it doesn't sit well with me. But who am I? Not an NFL owner, that's for sure. Not even the players had a say in it, right? You know, it was in the CBA. They negotiated. They agreed to it, regardless of what they got in return. This was inevitable. They were going to force these 17 games.
What they got in return, a lot of them already had. I mean, let's face it. All right, like I told you about that fourth preseason game. So if you are an established player in the league, you're not playing in 4 preseason games anyway. If you're established. Now, if you're in the bubble, if you are a rookie free agent, you're trying to like every opportunity means something to you. So you're playing in all 4 games. You're trying to make your mark on special teams. But if you're Alvin Kamara's not playing in the 4th preseason game anyway. So he was already in a perfect world. He was already on a 3 preseason game schedule. So what they did is now he's probably down to 2 because the 3rd preseason game becomes 3 is the new 4, right?